to Weight Loss with Edward, talking about nutrition. So we've talked about movement on Monday and hydration yesterday. Today is about nutrition. I'm just going to share this live in a couple of places and then we'll get to it. I hope you're all well and are ready to hopefully learn a little bit and get some tips for your day beginning proper. Let me just get this started properly. Here we go. Excuse me a second. So let's get to it. So calories are energy. That's something to bear in mind, okay? Calories are a source of energy. That's what fuels our body. So when we eat, food has calories in it, and that's what we run to fuel our body, okay? Fat is energy that we've brought in, calories that we've brought in, and we've brought in more energy than our body could use. Now, if you bear with me, I'm going to try and explain with a funny metaphor what it's like. So imagine you've got a car and you fill it up with fuel, but every time you fill it up with fuel, so let's say every day, you fill it up, but you put in, or you fill it full, and then you bring in even more calories than the car, or fuel than the car needs. So you have to put a little bit into a container, and that container sits in the boot of your car. And the next day, you fill the car to full, and then you bring it, and then you have some extra that you put in, so you have to put that in a canister. And so eventually, your boot and your back seats are filled with canisters holding the fuel that you've wanted to try and put in the car, but there's been too much. And the more you keep bringing in more fuel than your car needs, the more these canisters are filling up and filling your car. And you've not got much room, and it's rather uncomfortable, and you're pretty unhappy with the state of your car, full of these things. You're now trying to get rid of that excess fuel, get rid of those canisters so they're not taking up the space in your car. But every day when you go to the petrol station, you're still filling the car completely full. So there's no need for you to use any of the contents of those canisters, so they stay there. That's the fat staying on your body while you continue to bring in all the calories that your body needs at the size that it's at. If you were to put in that car half the amount of fuel that it requires and top it up with one of those canisters, the canister starts to empty. And eventually you'll be able to get rid of one, then another, then another. That's why you have to be in a calorific deficit to lose weight. Maintenance calories, you hear this term, maintenance calories, and you hear calorie deficit. Maintenance calories means the number of calories, the amount of energy, the number of calories your body requires to run for 24 hours. Being in a calorific deficit means putting in less fuel than your body currently requires at the size that you're at, so that you have to burn some fat to release the energy from the fat cells, to make up the numbers, to keep you moving and living throughout the day and burning some fat. You cannot bring in more energy than the body requires and burn fat. It's impossible. So one of the major problems that people find is that we all enjoy a snack in the evening. So if you imagine that you've eaten your calories for the day, your body wants to work through those calories until it runs out of them. And then it switches to running on burning fat, and you'll burn fat all through the night. If you have that little snack at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10:30, now it could be anything with calories in it. So it could be a hot chocolate or a glass of wine or a biscuit or two or some toast, whatever it might be, bringing in calories when your body was actually heading towards the point where your body would switch to running on burning fat cells means that your body doesn't switch to burning fat cells through the night. Instead, it works on breaking down those extra calories. So if there's one thing to take away from today, if you could cut out the snack between tea time and bedtime, you'll immediately start losing. Sugar is the number one issue when it comes to weight loss. It's a very top issue when it comes to losing weight. What your body does is when you eat sugar or carbs, because unfortunately they get broken down into sugar as well, and whether it's fruit or wine or crisps or sweets, your body consumes either carbs or sugar, and it breaks it down into a substance called glycogen. The glycogen, the body's version of sugar, gets stored in your liver, and your body must use up all of that sugar in your system before it can burn any fat, which means you might have eaten healthily all day, and you might have something that's only 100 calories or 150 calories in the evening time at 9 o'clock when your TV program finishes. But if it's got a bit of sugar in it, then your body has to break down that sugar before it can get into fat burning mode. And it basically puts a blocker or a stopper on your ability to burn fat that night. You'll have often heard the story of, 10 pints and then the pizza on the way home on a Friday night, or cocktails or whatever it might be. The reason why that pizza or the burger or the kebab goes straight on the hips is you've spent the evening drinking alcohol or whatever, soft drinks, but sugar, loads of sugar. So your body is crammed full of sugar, your liver is overflowing with it. And instead of your body ever getting round to working on that pizza and breaking down those calories and getting rid of it, it spends the whole night trying to break down the sugar from the evening's activities. And so come the next day when you have the recovery breakfast or whatever it might be, that pizza has still not been dealt with because the body has still been focusing on using up all that sugar. And that's what the little biscuit and cup of tea of an evening is, a sort of slightly gentler version of that, but it's the same principle. Just when your body was working through the calories and it's broken down the sugar you've consumed that day, was about to switch over to spend the night burning fat, instead, you've just put in the thing that stops that process. You've put in sugar. And so instead of burning fat all night, you just break down sugar instead. So not very useful. Food-wise, stodgy, starchy carbs are not your friend. Now, if you're doing high-intensity training, of course, there's a case for it because they break down into sugar and they give you a burst of energy. So if you're doing a half marathon, you're trying to beat your personal best in the gym, you're going to rugby training, there's some carbs, there's a case for using carbs for that burst of energy. But if we're just going about our normal life, we don't need that extra burst of energy. We have natural energy in our body with just eating healthy food. So your breads, pastas, rices, too many potatoes, root veg in general are all quite high in carbs. They tend to cause bloating, they interrupt digestion. If you imagine a glass of water with and you put a bit of bread in it, then the bread absorbs the moisture and it puffs out and it fills the glass. That's what's happening in your stomach when you eat your stodgy, starchy carbs. That's why you get bloated after a sandwich, a pizza, a pasta, a Sunday dinner. It's the carbs expanding in your stomach as they absorb the moisture. That stops other things digesting as quickly. Most people who think they have IBS, or many people, find that when they drop their carb intake a little bit, they stop experiencing IBS-like symptoms. It messes with your skin, it messes with your mood, it messes with your sleep, messes with your energy levels, because sugar, or carbs, which are sugar, spike your blood sugars, and then a couple of hours later they crash. So then you feel like you need something to pick you up, so you have something else, spikes your blood sugars, and then it crashes, because quick and convenient food tends to be carbs and sugars. And so trying to get away from building every meal, every lunch doesn't have to be a sandwich, doesn't have to be a bag of crisps. Anything that you put in a sandwich is usually fine. Egg mayo, prawn mayo, cheese and pickle, cheese and ham, all those sort of spicy chicken, anything that you'd put in a sandwich, they're all great, but you could have them in a tub. What time in the evening is best to stop taking calories in? Romina, I would give 2 to 3 hours before bedtime would be ideal. So 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Now, I know that some people work night shifts and some people work long days, and you have to work within the context of your life. But it is useful to have at least 2 or 3 hours before bed. If you can get any movement in after your last calories are consumed as well, that helps the process even more. So yeah, your stodgy, starchy carbs, try not to build every meal around it. Green veg, as a rule of thumb, are generally brilliant. So your cabbages, broccolis, kales, sprouts, all those things are really good. I wouldn't get too hung up on trying to be sort of super keto type eating. But your fats and your proteins are better for you and are better for weight loss than your carbs. Eggs, meat, fish, cheese, nuts, mushrooms, all these things are kind of high in protein, and apart from the mushrooms, high in fat. Fat does not make you fat. There's lots of fat in an avocado, and it actually reduces cholesterol. So there's a bit of misunderstanding with the word fat on a packet and being quote unquote fat. It's actually sugar that's worse for you. And you'll find that a lot of the low fat items that you can buy, if you check on the back, they're high in carbs and sugar because they're taking the fat out and they're putting sugar in instead. So I would eat full fat mayo, full fat yogurt, full fat cream. All these things are actually better for you. Cook with butter if you want. I'm not suggesting deep frying everything, but clean fruit and veg, meat, eggs. Eggs are brilliant, superfood. What about fiber? The fiber, it can be difficult to find foods that are high in fiber but low in carbs. Sometimes it's all right if you're eating a lower carb diet. It's actually okay to have every so often a day or two where you introduce some carbs, like healthy carbs deliberately, and that would be a good day to get some fiber in. If you're eating fruit, a piece of fruit or two a day, you can still keep your sugar intake on the day quite low, and a lot of fruit does have fiber in it and skin and stuff. So yeah, there's lots more to it. This is just a quick kind of bite-sized sort of information dump here. But if you want some more information, get in touch with Weight Loss with Edward. We work all this stuff out for you. How do you manage your eating times around work and kids and family, and sort of your lifestyle, food preferences and things like that. We spend a lot of time making sure that you enjoy your meals. You've got quick and easy snacks. You can eat with the family. Maybe it's just you're taking off the spaghetti and you're putting on some courgette. Little things like that, little tweaks, not wholesale changes to your life. If you can pull back from having something at 8 or 9 o'clock and have it at 7 or maybe 7:30 instead, it's all an improvement. So don't eat too late, don't eat too early, don't eat too much, and don't eat too much sugar. If you want some help to work out a nice, sensible calorie deficit that you can get losing with, give me a message. If you want any information at all, some food lists, some meal ideas, give me a shout. I can help. And if you want to be part of our community where we all help each other with recipes and meal ideas and support and encouragement, all the cool stuff, then come on board or at least get in touch. I can tell you a bit more about that. But until then, speak soon.